Greetings, program. I'm back. I realize it's been a minute since I've uploaded. I've been at school. There's been a lot of stuff going on, and I haven't had a huge amount of inspiration to make videos, but I have something very exciting to show you tonight, and I'm trying a little bit of a different format. I'm doing a retro YouTube style, just my hands and my desk in this case, with just some decorations. We've got the bone cage from the Godzilla vs. Shimo set, Jada, glow-in-the-dark creature, Monster King series Godzilla, just out of frame there, and the Super Cyborg Mechagodzilla here, which I absolutely love. I kind of want to do a video about that all on its own. He's just gonna be here, chilling out for the vibes. Here, we'll have him right about there, I think. Yeah. So he'll just be hanging out there as we talk about the subject for today. So I'm trying to, as I said, I'm going for a little bit of a different format. I'm gonna do a little more lo-fi, sort of. I'm not using an external microphone. I'm just gonna be chill, probably minimal editing. I'm just gonna jam, you know? We'll just talk and go over the figures and it'll be good. So tonight I have wave 4 of the Godzilla ReAction figures from Super 7. Now, interestingly, with this order, I got this little mummy boy sticker. The nice rainbow pattern on it. Very lovely stuff. Love to see it. So I'll have to find a nice place to put that. But yes, wave 4 of the Godzilla ReAction figures. These came out very recently, only a few weeks ago, if I remember correctly. I had them on pre-order at BBTS for a long time, and they just get pre-orders in really, really late sometimes. So I decided to switch over and just get them off of Super 7's website directly. So we have the whole wave here. We've got Godzilla 55, Godzilla Raids Again. We have companion piece Anguirus 55, sort of. We'll get there. From Godzilla Raids Again, we've got Baragon 68, sort of. We'll get there, but I'm very excited about this. It's a known fact that Baragon's my favorite Godzilla monster, so super stoked about that. And amazingly, Mogera 57, which is wild that they even made that, let alone that I own one now. So we'll get into some history on Mogera as well. So I think we'll just go through these one at a time and go over them, and I'll talk a little bit about the monsters themselves, or maybe the movies or anything like that. Oh, I will say, on the back of the package here, you can see all the previous waves. So in wave 1 you had Godzilla 54, Godzilla 57, long story, Godzilla 73, I'm sorry, Jet Jaguar 73. I'm very tired. This is my last school day of the week, so I'm tuckered out. But Mothra 61, Mechagodzilla 74, Rodan 64, and then wave 2. Let me see if I can. There we go. Godzilla 62, Godzilla 84, Hedorah 71, Gigan 72, half-transformed Mechagodzilla, which is one of my favorites. King Ghidorah 64, another personal favorite of mine. Wave 3 was Godzilla 74, Megalon 73, Minya or Manila, Mechagodzilla 74, Space Titanium, and wave 4 is these guys. Now, I realized as I was looking at this earlier that I have every single one of these. I don't have all the original versions. They're like in different colorways, like a glow-in-the-dark version or a, different different deco, but I have a version of every single Godzilla reaction figure, which is kind of cool. So it's cool, but it's also kind of like, uh-oh, because now I feel locked into always having all of them, so yeah. So I think as reasonable a place to start as any is here with Godzilla himself. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this, and I'll show you when it's out of the package. I'll tell you what, Super 7 must have been using some new kind of glue, because that was very stern to get the card off. But here we have Godzilla 55. That looks fantastic. Oh, I love the way that looks. Now, I am a known defender of Godzilla 55 from Godzilla Raids Again. I know a lot of folks love to bash this suit and talk about how ugly it is, and I'm not disagreeing that it's ugly. I'm just saying that I love it for that reason. You can see they have very carefully captured the shrink-wrapped ghoul face that the 55 Godzilla is famous for. And I'm kind of kicking myself because I wish I would have grabbed some of the other ones for comparison, because I'm curious about if like the body is the same, if the tail's the same. Obviously the head isn't. Just kind of eyeballing it, looking at my shelf now, it doesn't look like the arms are the same. It doesn't look like the legs are the same. The torso, maybe? I can't really tell. Spines are new, so it's definitely, it's new enough. Now this does say grayscale version. There's not another version of 55 Godzilla unless they're planning to do a Toys Dream Project version like Bandai is, which would be pretty sick. Though I admittedly doubt that that's on the way. But I don't know, maybe they'll come up with some kind of interesting new colorway for it. I really like the uncanny look of the face. I like how fiendish and creepy it looks. The 55 Godzilla is kind of one of my go-tos in terms of a horror-first Godzilla. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this. The detailing all looks really nice. In terms of articulation, they're reaction figures, so standard stuff. Just the arms, the head, the legs. The legs are a little stiff, and the tail. Tail is very, very stiff, but there is a little bit of motion in there. So just about everything you want. It's funny enough, I noticed these also have holes in the feet for reaction stands, and I have never needed a stand for any of the reaction Godzilla. Maybe Jet Jaguar you might, but most of the monsters have tails, so they don't have any problems standing up on their own. So yeah, big fan of Godzilla 55 here. I don't know, it's not necessarily my favorite Godzilla reaction figure so far, but it's definitely up there. I definitely do like it. So yeah, Godzilla 55. It's also nice that they went to the trouble of having this be different from the 57 suit, because you could ostensibly fib that, but they didn't. They actually went to the trouble of including the differences between the two, and I very much appreciate that. So yeah, let's go ahead and put Godzilla down there. And I think we'll move on to Anguirus here. I'm very interested in this one. This is very different from any other Godzilla reaction figure that we've seen, so. Packaging's all the same. Now, the reason I said Anguirus 55 sort of is that it says 55. So its namesake is the Raids Again Anguirus, but the card art here, pretty infamously at this point, is the excuse me, is the later second generation Anguirus. And looking at the figure itself, well, we'll take a closer look when it's out of the package. Alrighty, so Anguirus came out a little easier than Godzilla did, and I really dig this, man. This is super cool. It's really neat to see, because Anguirus, I think, is a particularly challenging monster to fit into the ReAction stylization, the ReAction style guide, right? And so I was very interested to see how it would translate, and by and large, this is really working for me. I love the proportions of it. It's got this sort of A-frame to it. It's very animated looking to me, although not a tremendous departure from the suit itself. The eye is not blue, by the way. The eye is white. That's just my lighting. It makes it look like he's got a gorgeous ocean blue eye. Obviously the tail is shortened quite a bit to fit with the style. But yeah, I love the scale detailing. That all looks fantastic. And as I said, the proportions, although it is, you know, sort of truncated to fit with the style, I think it fits right in. And I really do love it. They even captured the weirdly sort of hourglass-shaped neck that Anguirus had. Now, you may have noticed this spike here on the carapace is bent backwards. That was in the package. The little plastic tie that was holding him in place had caught that spike and just kind of bent it down, so that's just gonna be that way forever now, but that's okay. Just a little bit of character. These aren't tremendously sharp. They're not rubber or anything. I was wondering if they were going to be like a really soft plastic. They're not, but they're not, you know. You're not going to hurt yourself on this thing. The crown of spikes does look more Raids Again than second generation to my eye. The face itself, it does have kind of the downward slope of second generation, but it's not obviously one or the other, in my view. The carapace is definitely Raids Again, the more flat shape and the arrangement of the spikes. But I think it could ostensibly kind of work for either. Whichever one you want it to be. But it is black and white, so I think it works as Raids Again Anguirus. And incidentally, that is what they did for the Toys Dream Project, Raids Again Anguirus. Once again, standard articulation, just the legs. He's got 4 stand holes, so if you put 4 stands, this would be the most stable action figure ever to exist. The tail, does the tail move? It does. It's very stiff, but it does move. And the head. You can do a curious little puppy tilt. Ooh, what's that? That's very nice. Oh, this is fun. I like this. And so, I mean, I don't know if you'd call it posability necessarily, because by the nature of Anguirus' design, it kind of has to be, you know, on all fours like that, but still definitely fun. This is, I really like this one. This is up there in terms of, this might be one of my favorite of the Godzilla ReAction figures so far. This is really cool. It's also, there's a weird parallaxing with, I'm looking through the viewfinder at what I'm filming, but I'm feeling it physically in my hands, and it's weird. It's like, it's throwing me off. But yeah. I also love how since the legs are bent in this way, it gives the whole thing this upward slope. It feels very much like a suit. And that is very, very cool. Now, these two both featured together in Godzilla Raids Again, which was the second ever Godzilla movie. So Anguirus was Godzilla's first adversary, which you may not have known. But yeah, these two duked it out very, you know, the fight choreography is kind of minimalist in that movie, so it's very animalistic sort of thing. But I really like it. I'm a defender of raids again. I know not a lot of folks are. A lot of folks don't like it, and that's fine. But I, for one, have a lot of affection for Godzilla Raids Again. So I'll always take this pair, this dynamic duo. Because there were the movie Monster Series ones that did I do a video about? I didn't do a video about them, but they're great. And I'm happy to have another set. So let's go ahead and put these two down there. And let's move on next to Baragon here. Again, not too much to say about the package. It's the same as the others. Really nice artwork of Baragon there. A little subsumed by the bubble there, but that's okay. It is a little bit bigger. I'm interested to see how this one's gonna feel in hand. So I'm gonna open it up and show you. And here he is, Baragon in the flesh. Oh, I love it. I love it. But I was always gonna love it, wasn't I? As I said before, Baragon is my personal favorite. My favorite Godzilla kaiju. So, I can never pass up a Baragon, nor will I ever pass up a Baragon. And this is a really great representation. Apart from the head, it's really not super compromised from the suit. Like, the proportions aren't all that different. Tail's only, well, I mean, it is shorter, but it doesn't feel super dramatic. It does have a pretty big, pretty big noggin. But what a beautiful noggin it is. Look at him. Just the right intersection of adorable and horrible, you know. I love the big flappity ears. I love a Baragon figure where the ears could fold forward over its eyes. As far as I know, the only one that can do that is the Reveltech one. And I doubt I'll ever get my hands on that thing. I also love the hands on this one. I love that it's doing the very get you creature feature posture. Ah, this one might be my favorite. I don't know, I love all of them. These make me so happy. They make me so very happy. And I'm trying not to be overly effusive because we're going for this kind of chilled out, relaxed vibe. You know, you could maybe listen to this going to bed, or when you just need to take a break, chill, hang out with some monsters, as I often do. So here's Baragon, looking gorgeous. Again, the detailing on these things is just awesome, man. The sort of checker pattern tummy and these great sort of osteoderms. Sorry, these great osteoderms on its back. It's just really, really nice. There's a nice airbrushing on the back spines as well. It's fantastic. Absolutely love it. Now, I mentioned a sort of discrepancy in the naming. The name would suggest that this is the Baragon from Destroy All Monsters, but the blurb on Super 7's website says that it's based on Frankenstein Conquers the World, or Frankenstein vs. Baragon, or Frankenstein vs. the Subterranean Monster, depending on your preference. Now, I don't know, on the face of it, well, literally on the face of it, just looking at the face, I would probably guess this was the Destroy All Monsters Baragon before I would guess it was the Frankenstein suit. However, there's an argument to be made that in Destroy All Monsters, as far as I remember, I'm happy to be corrected on this, but if memory serves, Baragon was only quadrupedal in Destroy All Monsters. So you could argue that it is the Frankenstein version because it's bipedal. Again, it's similar to Anguirus in the sense that I think it could kind of work for either. It works as sort of a dual-purpose Showa-era Baragon. His big old eyes. He's got this sort of bemused look on his face. It's so cute. Big tummy. I just love Baragon so much. Anytime I get a Baragon toy, my heart flutters. Ugh, love him. So yeah, that's Baragon. Absolutely fantastic. Put it down there with the others. And finally, that brings us to probably the oddball of this set, which is Mogera 57. Really, really nice artwork on there. Definitely excited to get this one out. So without further ado, I'm gonna do just that. All right. This one was a little tricky to get out of the package. The elastic was very tight around the tum there, so I had to coax it out a little bit. But here we have Mogera, or Magera, or Momo. Not that one, depending on your preference. I'm curious if the antenna twists, because they're supposed to be like that, but they're turned this way to fit in the package, so I don't know. I don't know if those are supposed to twist or not. They don't seem too keen. And I don't really want to force them, although they are. Oh boy. Oh, I knocked the camera. Never mind, they turn. Just have to be a little stern with them. They could go a little more, but I don't want to put too much pressure on it. So there is Mogera. Now this may look unfamiliar to you, even if you've seen Mogera before. And that's because the much more famous version of Mogera was the Heisei one from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. The original appearance of Mogera, the one upon which this figure is based, was from the Mysterians from 1957, where it was a villainous pawn of the of the invaders, and it was sort of an instrument of destruction, you know, that kind of thing. Almost like Gigan in that sense, which is really, really neat. And I do really like this design a lot. It has that it's kind of like the Showa Mechagodzilla in the sense that it has that very retro future, you know, Forbidden Planet sort of rivets and foil robot energy that I just love so much. And you can see a lot of the design cues that ended up going into the Heisei version of the character, of the mech, I suppose I should say. And this is really, really nice looking. I gotta say, for a ReAction figure, it's incredibly suit accurate. Like there doesn't seem to have been a great deal of compromise from the screen version to this figure. Like the proportions don't seem touched, especially. Colors are all there. It's even got the clear bottom jaw. It's great. This is fantastic. I like that the legs are on these huge joints that like only go that far forward, so it can lean forward should you need it to. The arms, it maybe would have been nice if the arms could twist, but it's a ReAction figure. What do you want? The head can go not quite all the way around because of the buzzsaw on the back there. Again, very Gigan. But it can turn, and the antenna, I think, turn as far as I can tell. So yeah, this is really, really great. I'm so thrilled. This is the first Mysterians Mogera I've ever had in the collection, so I'm very, very happy to finally have this slightly more obscure sect of the franchise represented in the collection with such a nice figure, no less. And like, what a world, you know? What a world to live in where you can buy a Mysterians Mogera figure for 20 bucks. Like, that's pretty cool, just in its own right. And it's important to, you know, be thankful for things like that, I think. So yeah, this is really, really fantastic, and I continue to be impressed by the work that Super 7's doing. So I am absolutely thrilled with the Wave 4 Godzilla reaction figures. I think my favorite, it's got to be either Anguirus or Baragon. I think Baragon's probably my favorite, but I love Anguirus too. And these two are also fantastic, obviously. The least interesting's weirdly probably the 55 Godzilla. And I say weirdly because I always get really excited when there's a 55 Godzilla about. But yeah, I am super, super happy with these, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like this style of things, if you prefer the format where you see my face and it's more high energy, shorter videos, that sort of thing, or if you prefer the more laid back, this format of videos. Let me know which one you like, and I will do more of either. And yeah, there's always fun stuff in the oven for you. I'll have more to come shortly. And until then, please be sure to be kind to yourself and others. If you can, there's a link in the description to donate to Doctors Without Borders. So if you have some change to spare and you feel like donating to a worthy cause, consider that. And I will see you again soon, and good night.